Hi, I'm John Green.
My name is Fish Biryani Idli Sambar.
I am dosa with goat cheese. I am coconut water.
And this is Crash Course World History. Today we'll be talking about the Napoleonic Wars, conflict within Europe and within France, and bread. Napoleon Bonaparte was a great military leader. Before becoming a dictator, he was a lieutenant in the French artillery of 1785. In that, he won brilliant victories. Napoleon had many wars with countries. For example, the coalitions. The coalitions were a group of 7 wars waged between the European powers and revolutionary France. The third coalition, for example, was when Austria, Russia, and Sweden joined together with Britain to form the third coalition against France. But with Napoleon on the other side, they had no chance, and Napoleon was able to easily take away a victory. Through conquering, Napoleon gained control of essentially all of continental Europe and what is current-day Western Asia, except Russia, because no one ever conquered Russia, except, wait for it, the Mongols. There were many wars fought during the time of the French Revolution, including the War of Spanish Succession, which was Louis XIV's last war. It was France against essentially the rest of Europe. A War of Succession is when 2 or more people claim to be the rightful successor to the throne. Also, another war not having to do with succession was probably one of the most famous, which was the 7 Years' War, also known as the French and Indian War. In this war, France lost territory to North America, and as a result, Great Britain became the dominant economic and naval power in the world. Now, I'll pass it off to Dosa with goat cheese.
Napoleon was a man who fought many wars. Like, wow, that's amazing, right? He fought so many, he has a whole set of wars named after him called the Napoleonic Wars. So, the last set of wars that Napoleon had to fight was the 7th Coalition. And during this 7th Coalition, Napoleon was finally exiled during a failed invasion of Russia. And he tried to make a comeback, which was called the 100 Days Reign, where he ruled as dictator again for 100 days. But then he was beat out at the famous Battle of Waterloo during 1815, where he was finally exiled to his place of death. So we all know Napoleon was a dictator, but his losses signaled the end of the French. He was the end of the chaotic French Revolution, but was also the bridge to the end of the powerful French state during 1815. After this, the French would resort back to the Bourbon monarchy, signaling the end of a time of bloodshed. Let's go to the thought bubble. So back to Waterloo. The Battle of Waterloo took place in present-day Belgium. The war was waged between the new emperor, Napoleon Bonaparte, again, and the allied British and Prussian empires. Napoleon tried to attack the British and the Prussians separately, hoping that the two do not ally with each other. But his plan failed. The Duke of Wellington, the British, and Juan Blücher, the Prussians, allied, finally beating Napoleon's army. So, the Battle of Waterloo was the decisive engagement of the Waterloo campaign, and it was Napoleon's last. So, the defeat at Waterloo was like a chronicle milestone between all the Napoleonic Wars and a couple decades of relative peace. But before Waterloo, Napoleon was a pretty amazing general, and he ended up becoming a dictator. He ended up even crowning himself on the throne instead of the Pope. He was able to take down massive countries including Spain, Austria, and Prussia. He was brutal in his military strategy and was able to easily crush the many countries with ease. But this was also made easier due to the countries not actually allying with each other and sort of attacked independently. But even when they did come together, Napoleon was able to easily fend them off with his superior military strength. Now, I'll give it to my friend, coconut water.
Now it's time for the open letter. Let's see what's in the secret compartment. Oh look, it's bread. An open letter to bread and the members of the Third Estate and bourgeoisie who were fighting to eat it. The Third Estate was heavily taxed on commodities such as bread and grains. Unable to pay for this good as well as many other household items, internal conflicts began to rise between the estates. The internal conflict between the Third Estate and the First and Second Estates led to the decimation of cities and hundreds of acres of land. Now to fish.
Though the war might have caused many internal conflicts, there are also many big external consequences. The wars led by Napoleon greatly affected both dominant and weak powers. For example, his greatest war was when he defeated Austria. This caused the fall of the Holy Roman Empire and the creation of the Confederation of Rhine, which is an alliance with Germany and France. He also tried to wage a war against Britain when he was power hungry. However, his fleet was destroyed by the British in the Battle of Trafalgar. Instead of continuing with the Figaro War, he tried waging an economic war. It was called the Continental System, which blocked all trade with Britain and thus lowered their economic strength. This would also inhibit their ability to wage a war. Unfortunately, this move backfired as the British made a counterattack. That negatively affected the French consumers. After this, in 1811, the French lost Russia as an ally and proceeded to launch wars against them. France was close, but the war was a draw, and hundreds of thousands of men were either taken prisoner or they died. Napoleon fled to another war, but Russia, Austria, Britain, and Prussia formed to create a quadruple alliance against the French. He was taken hostage at Elba, but he escaped and went back to France for 100 days, known as the 100 Days. He was crushed by the opposite forces. The Napoleonic Wars showed how a country can regain strength and power even after a period of conflict.
Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. I'm John. Hi, I'm John Green. What the heck? Hi, my name's John Green.
I am dosa with milk.
Lassi.
this is Crash Course World History. No. You stop.
My name's Idli Fishkulumba Balaraj. Fishkulumba Balaraj.
Rub it out.
Dosa with goat cheese.
Conflict within Asia? No. Napoleonic Wars, conflict within France and within Europe, and bread. And most importantly, bread. God dang it!
Dude!
We had it! We had it! It was all because of you.
You could have just said bread and then